Good morning, everyone. As he said, my name is Jim True. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Aspen International Mountain Foundation. And at the outset, I must state that I am humbled at the quality of the speakers that are here on this panel and that have been at this conference. And I am honored that I have been made a part of this conference. I want to briefly talk about the Aspen International Mountain Foundation. It works with the government of Bhutan and the Bhutan Trust for Environmental Conservation on various projects. AIMF is also a member of the steering committee of the Mountain Partnership, which is a voluntary alliance of governments, non-governmental organizations, educational institutions, and private sector entities. It is a partnership under the auspices of the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. The Mountain Partnership recognizes the shared visions of mountain communities and recognizes the unique challenges that are faced by mountainous regions. We often speak of mountains being the canary in the coal mine regarding climate change, for the impacts may be felt first in regions such as Bhutan and Aspen, Colorado. But I am not here to talk climate change. I'm here to talk of a case study that I have called Aspen, the City of Well-Being. I want to provide Aspen, Colorado as an example of a community that recognizes the importance of appropriate work-life balance, the appreciation of nature and recreation, and the development of mind, body, and spirit. When I was asked to do this presentation on Aspen, the City of Well-Being, it reminded me of when I first moved to Aspen from South Carolina. Aspen is a world-famous ski resort. Just this past year, it was the host of the World Cup Alpine Skiing Finals. But when I moved there, I did not ski. I got a job offer as a young attorney, it was a long time ago, and moved to Aspen in late spring. I thoroughly enjoyed my summer, but had no idea of what to expect of winter, since my experience with skiing was based only on watching the Olympics on television. My first winter, I had a routine dental appointment scheduled. Early the morning of that dental appointment, I received a call from my dentist. True, he said. Everyone called me True. He said, True, it snowed last night. I said, uh-oh, can you not get into town for our appointment? No, he responded, there are 10 inches of powder. I said, naively, so. He made it clear to me, it's a powder day. We are closing the office and going skiing. We have to reschedule your appointment. I learned skiing powder was a priority for local businesses. That was my introduction to what was the priority in Aspen, what people were in Aspen for, recreation and well-being. And as you can see, with me skiing and powder, it's a beautiful, beautiful activity. Okay, I will confess, that's not really me. My skiing and powder looks more like this. And I end up like that, or like that. But this is my contribution to the happiness of others, well, at least laughter of others, because I can guarantee you that that gentleman had a great laugh at my expense. But whether one can ski powder or not, what I learned early in my life in Aspen was its citizens do recognize the importance of the proper work-life balance. Work hard, but strive for that balance. A proper work-life balance can be achieved in any number of different ways. Everybody must find his or her own way to achieve that happiness. But I am struck by something I saw here in Bhutan, for it represents what so many in Aspen believe. When my wife and I first arrived in Paro Sunday, it's our first visit to Bhutan, the first thing we wanted to do was hike up to Taksing, the tiger's nest. Our guide was skeptical. It was noon and we had just traveled 38 hours, and I am an old guy after all. I didn't blame him for his concern, but we are mountain hikers and felt that we could complete the hike before nightfall, so off we went. As you all know, it's spectacular, and my words would never do it justice. But what I found at the beginning of the trail embodies what Aspen emphasized and promotes. Remember, nature is the source of all happiness. This sign is at the beginning of that trek to the tiger's nest, but I think it says a great deal about what we in Aspen strive for and recognize. The City of Aspen is built around an outdoor recreational industry. We recognize that we are not just supporting the industry and driving an economic benefit from it, but that the participation in recreation, we participate in recreation, enjoy what nature provides. That is the key of our well-being. Nature is the source of all happiness. Aspen begins teaching an appreciation of the love of nature early. This is an 8th grade class going on what the school describes as an outdoor education. Each middle school grade below this goes on a separate trip, rafting down the Colorado River, a cross-country ski trip to huts, camping in a national park. But this is considered the big one, a 25-mile hike with a solo camping experience for each student at the end. Whoop, hit the wrong button. This is part of the trek, these 8th graders going on that 25-mile hike. It's a long, difficult hike, but it is part of their education. And I was struck by the speakers on the panel earlier and our comparison of our effort at educating our students to appreciate the outdoors, similar to our Russian gentleman who spoke of the same activities at Tomsk in Siberia. To answer and follow up on a question that was posed by the audience, as these students move into high school, they go into what we call experience education. And they go on different trips, but some are focused on outdoor education, some are focused on volunteer work, some are focused on other forms of education and art. And that is part of what the Aspen experience is. In the adult world, recreation remains a fundamental part of the work-life balance. The City of Aspen itself encourages activities through swimming passes, golf passes, and of course ski passes. We even encourage people to take a lunch break for a couple of runs on Aspen Mountain. But our conference here is focused on the private sector, G&H and business. So I investigated whether the Aspen citizens' ideal of well-being is actually promoted by business that is the foundation of the city, a company that is in the business of selling recreation. The anecdotal example of a small dental office that closes on a powder day doesn't really address what the entire city does. The Aspen Skiing Company is the largest employer of the City of Aspen. In the past, its corporate social responsibility has been seriously questioned. The quest for profits for one ownership group overwhelmed any other thoughts. Years ago, a government that I was a part of fought with this company over our environmental policies. Company policies of the Aspen Skiing Company over water that threatened stream health, and development policies that would compromise wildlife populations. But corporate ownerships change. And as that evolved, so did its attitude. Whether ownership recognized that it was ethical duties to the community or simply recognized that its business was dependent on a proper response to climate change, after all, a skiing company cannot last long without snow, or whether it recognized, as what speakers at this conference has said, doing good is good business. The Aspen Skiing Company emphasizes now its philanthropy, but I agree with your Honorable Prime Minister, philanthropy is not enough. So I asked the Aspen Skiing Company what it was doing now for the well-being of its employees, of our citizens. They explained that they went back to their roots. When it was founded in the 1940s, two of its founders wanted to make the town and its mountains a destination for those seeking a renewal of mind, body, and spirit. As one of the founders once said, Aspen had fishing, climbing, hiking, skiing. Aspen had so much to add to leisure, to the renewal of the inner spirit. It was the perfect setting for music, art, education, all things that make life worth living. These founders of the skiing company branched out, knowing that nature is the source of happiness, but from that derives an enjoyment of all of life. Through the work of these founders, Aspen now has a world-renowned music school, the Aspen Institute, music concerts in the outdoors, has a physics think tank, has a laugh festival, operas, and sporting events. Important is the Aspen Ideas Festival, which brings together world leaders to discuss issues that are important to all of us. The Aspen Skiing Company now and its employees participate in all of these efforts. The Aspen Skiing Company also pointed to its increased environmental efforts highlighted by the completion of a 300 megawatt coal mine methane electricity generating plant at a mine 50 miles from their operations. The skiing company now works with local government on environmental issues. These efforts are aimed at sustainability. And I kept asking them what they did. And they pointed out another step, for they have now embarked on a campaign for its customers, employees, and the locals alike. It is called the Aspen Way. Love. Is love a choice you make or something that chooses you? It's both. That's the magic. The question is, how do we open our hearts even bigger, not just to people, but to the whole world around us? Love, it's the Aspen Way. Unity. The mountains don't discriminate. Neither do we. Neither should anyone. Ethnicity, religion, race, gender identity. We're better together. On the mountain, at work, as a nation, as members of the human race. It is easy to give in to the fear of the different. Please don't. Unity. It's the Aspen Way. Respect. Respect requires more than leaving things be. Sometimes it means taking a stand for something, like the environment, so the next generation can ski or ride, or the value of science and the certainty of facts, because the mountains were here first. Respect, it's the Aspen Way. Commit, but don't commit to that jump. That's something different. Commit, that knot in your stomach, it's the sign you're about to do something uncomfortable, risky even. Could be dropping into a big line or heading to a peaceful protest. Could be speaking up when it's not easy or listening when it's even harder. Bottom line, it's always worth it. Commit, it's the Aspen Way. The Aspen Skiing Company promotes employee well-being beyond this but through numerous programs. Like the city and other employees, the skiing company pays time off for voluntary work, encourages individual philanthropy, and promotes healthy living off the clock and on. I cannot tell you whether the Aspen Skiing Company would score well enough to receive a GNH certification. But there is one organization in Aspen, whether they know it or not now, is determined to have all public and private entities in Aspen achieve that goal. I borrowed the name for this presentation, Aspen, the City of Wellbeing, from this organization. It just had a conference in Aspen called Lead with Love.
2 more minutes, please.
Thank you. Its whole purpose is to promote the well-being of our citizens, a well-being that is the Aspen Way. It has specific programs that teaches to help employees and thus their businesses. 2 examples are Brain Break. This organization goes into offices in town, and particularly some governmental offices, and offers methods of properly preparing for your work and working through the day. It has Desk Relief. It's another example of what it does to promote a healthy environment at work. Aspen recognizes that happiness is found through a development of mind, body, and spirit. Knowing that nature is the ultimate source of all happiness, we strive to enjoy all that is afforded to us. So I will leave you with this today. If the powder is deep enough, even falling can be fun. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.